All right, Rob, we asked Shannon this, and you have a special relationship with Matt Stafford. And the question is this, because they asked this, and here's what we're playing off of. NFL.com spoke to a few analysts, of its analysts, about whether or not Matthew Stafford, if he wins this Super Bowl, whether or not he's a Hall of Famer. And 2 said yes. I believe, was it 4 said no. Nate Burleson, was the former player, was among those who said yes. Steve Mariucci would say not yet. What James Jones, Rob G?
Not yet.
He said not yet. But basically 2 out of the 6 said no.
No, 2 out of the 6 said yes.
And 4 out of the 6 said no. But
right.
Where are you at on it?
I say no, too, not yet. And Shannon alluded to it, Chris. If he plays up 5 or 6 years here and puts up numbers and the Rams keep winning and they make it to another Super Bowl or they win the division or the NFC once or twice or something, he's going to have a case. Because you're right, it's about how you finish always and how people look at you. But I don't think right here, right now, off of 1, because the team he went to had already gone to the Super Bowl. We've talked about this a few times.
We've said he has to win it.
He has to win it to me, because that's why he was brought here. He was supposed to be the missing piece, just like I think, Chris, if he wets the bed on Sunday and doesn't play well. Remember, he almost had that second pick against the 49ers that could have hurt them or could have lost the game for him, and it was dropped. But I'm just saying, if he doesn't play well, he will get most of the blame and nothing else, because he was looked at as the missing piece. Right? They had everything. It was like, we just need a quarterback who can make every throw. That's what they said, right? Jared Goff couldn't make every throw. Matthew Stafford can make every throw. So that's why if he were to win and they already want to give him the MVP and all that, if that's the case, it will help his argument going on. But I wouldn't say he's a slam dunk. There are other quarterbacks. And Rob G.
Jim Plunkett.
Jim Plunkett won 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Ken Stabler.
Right.
I don't believe
another Raiders.
He actually is in the Hall of Fame.
But did he get in? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kenny the Snake Stabler, another one. But there are some other guys, Chris, who won. Phil Simms won a Super Bowl.
Right.
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Jeff Hostetler won the other one with the Giants. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Doug Williams, who put on one of the greatest shows ever in the history of Super Bowls, is not in the Hall of Fame.
And shouldn't be.
No,
right? He didn't have a Hall of Fame career.
No, he didn't have a Hall of Fame career.
And Plunkett didn't. Here's the thing, though, that helps Stafford. His numbers. And I get it. We are in a different era, right? So all the quarterbacks from this era are going to be at the top of the yards.
Right.
Touchdowns is not quite as different. It's different. They throw more now, but it's not like totally, blowing away some of the top quarterbacks from yesteryear. But the yards, Rob, is very different. The completion percentage, things like this. So here's a few of Stafford's rankings. He's in the top 12 all-time, Rob. Of completions, he's 11th. Passing yards, he's 12th. He's 5 yards away from 5,000. Passing yards per game, get this, he's 4th. That's impressive, 275 a game. Touchdown passes, he's 12th. Here's one I like, Rob. Game-winning drives, he's 7th. So the ones I'm most impressed with in this list are game-winning drives, and I would say passing yards.
I'm going to say this.
Game.
Let me jump in here. This is why I don't think Stafford's numbers are nearly as impressive as people think. A lot of those are Stat Padford numbers, Chris, down by 2 or 3 touchdowns late in games.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of game-winning drives.
Okay. That's one. His record against winning teams, not great. They've lost a lot of games. He lost a lot of games against good teams. And here's the third part. This past year, Tom Brady put up all those yards, right?
Right.
And what else? All those touchdowns.
Led the league in touchdowns and yards.
And he ain't going to win the MVP. So people don't look at
But he had a great year.
No, no.
He's second. He'll be second.
But I'm saying so people are looking into your season a little more than just stats.
Right.
Because normally, you remember what did they say down in Tampa?
Jameis Winston?
No, Arian said, if Tom Brady doesn't win the MVP, it's ludicrous. It's ridiculous, right? And I'm trying to say that the voters and the people who value the quarterback play just didn't look at Tom Brady and go, look at these crazy numbers. He's 44 years old. He led the league in touchdowns. He led the league in yards. He should automatically get the MVP. He didn't get the MVP, or he's not going to get the MVP. I think that speaks volumes as far as where we are and the numbers being a little inflated. Am I crazy?
Well, I hear you, and that's a good point. But when it comes to Stafford, the reason a Jim Plunk is not in the Hall of Fame or a Doug Williams is their numbers aren't great.
No, I get it.
So if Stafford gets a Super Bowl win, and then you look at his numbers, he's had 9 seasons over 4,000 yards passing. That's that might be more than Aaron Rodgers. And I know he's not as good as Aaron Rodgers.
But doesn't winning matter?
Yeah, it does. And that's why, you're right. Right now, you and I, we laughed when people said he's a Hall of Famer right now.
Right.
But if you add a Super Bowl, and I'm with Steve Mariucci, who was asked by NFL.com. Mariucci said, if he wins the Super Bowl, maybe Super Bowl MVP even, and then retires a month from now, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Which I agree with, because it's just like, okay, you had one. Matt Ryan had one good year. They didn't win the Super Bowl.
Right, but he
had one phenomenal year.
That doesn't make you a
He's got good numbers, yeah. So what I think is if he wins this Super Bowl, and say for the next 5 years he's with the Rams, and they don't win one or even get back to another one, but they're in the hunt. They get to a few championship games,
up big numbers,
and he's putting up over 4,000 yards a year, I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. Because he'll have the victory, the Super Bowl ring, and his numbers are he very well could wind up top 5 in several categories.
Right, but also,
and if you got the winning, you're going to be in.
But if he so to me, it still comes down to winning, Chris, because if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, I don't think that he has the same backing despite his numbers. He could be top 5, say they don't win.
Right.
I don't think you would have the same push for him despite all the numbers. That's why winning is important, because without the winning, without a Super Bowl, I don't think people are going to go crazy for Matt Stafford.
Let me throw this at you. And for Aaron Rodgers has 10 years of 4,000 or more yards. Stafford has 9. But let me throw this at you. What if they lose this game Sunday, the Rams?
Right.
And then over the next 5 years, Stafford's numbers are terrific, over 4,000, maybe 1 year 5,000 yards. They get back to another one, lose. And then the other 3 years or 4 years, they're in the hunt, finish championship game, lose, second round, lose, whatever. I still think he's got a case. Even without a Super Bowl win, Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame for putting up huge yards.
But he also revolutionized the passing game, and it just was different in the NFL. Like, the Air Coryell and whatnot. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he was almost like a –
He was
this is a coach, but like a Mike D'Antoni of the NFL, right? Numbers galore. Like you said, Air Coryell. It was almost viewed like, okay, they're good. They're in the hunt, but you never believed in them to really win a Super Bowl.
Right.
As good as they were, the Chargers.
And here's the last thing about Stafford. 8 of his 13 years as a starter, Chris, his team had a losing record.
Right.
So that's another thing. And then you say, well, what do you expect? He was with the Lions. Joe Burrow went to the Bengals. They won 4 games last year.
Burrow's
he was
unique.
hurt. No,
yeah, Burrow's unique.
They do share the same thing, Chris. First overall pick.
He ain't. No, but I can't. Here's what I will say.
Stafford was at Georgia.
Burrow's
That's why he
done
was the number
something
one
nobody
pick.
else has ever done. No other number one pick has led a team this early to the Super Bowl. But here's what I will say. Peyton Manning, most great quarterbacks do turn a franchise around. You may not win a Super Bowl, but they make you pretty much a perennial
Stafford
playoff
never
team.
did that.
He didn't do that. So
he didn't do it.
That's why he definitely needs
To win.
Probably a Super
He
Bowl
needs a
win.
Super Bowl victory
I
minimum.
think it'll be arguable if he doesn't win it, but over the next 5 years they're in the hunt and his numbers are crazy. But I think he needs to definitely be a Hall of Famer, a win, and then like 4 years of really high quality play.
And here's the other thing too that I think hurts him is that if you want to go and say he had nothing in Detroit, Calvin Johnson was a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know how hard it is for receivers to be first ballot?
Right.
I mean.
But this was Nate Burleson's argument, Rob. Who was throwing it to Calvin Johnson? Like we saw, not that OBJ is as good as Calvin Johnson, but when he didn't have good quarterbacks, when he had an old Eli, he put up some numbers, but, it didn't work out. Baker, it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the only thing is, and that's a good point. The only thing I'm going to say is that he didn't win enough. Like, it's one thing to throw up, be down 21 points, and then the defense softens and you're throwing in front of them, right? They're giving it to you. We want you to move the ball, Chris. We want you to eat clock.
Right.
That's what we want. We don't want to stop the clock and we're going to let you throw in front of us. Nothing over the top, no easy scores. That's football.